So we're going to start our practice laying on our back. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together, allowing the knees to open up wide. Placing your right hand on your abdomen and your left hand on your chest. Allow the upper arms to connect so you are not holding them up. And on your next inhale breath, breathe into your chest. Allow it to overfill and spill down into your abdomen. And then empty your abdomen and then your chest. We'll do that again. Breathe into your chest, feel it lift. Then your belly. And empty from the bottom and the top. And feel this abdominal thoracic breath. You can feel the movement of the front body. See if you can feel movement in the back of your body as well. Keep your breath rich and full. Taking our last few breaths here. Bring your hands down to your outer thighs. Lift the knees to face the ceiling. Stretching one leg out, followed by the other. Arms go overhead. You're going to walk your legs and feet over to the left side. Can't go any further. Right ankle crosses on top of your left. Think of squeezing your thighs towards one another as you inch your upper body over to the left as well. Left hand will take a hold of your right wrist, filling up the right side of your body. There's an expansion. And on your exhale, there's a sense of sinking through the hips and shoulders. This rich, full breath, helping create length all through the side of your body. We keep integrity as we remain with a subtle tone at the same time. After you complete your next exhale, releasing this side and transitioning to the left. Legs and feet move to the right side. Upper body also coming to the same side. Left ankle crosses on top. And right hand will take left wrist. Bring that same breath in so we can balance out the left and right side. Inhale, expansion. And exhale, grounding. Completing your next breath out. Move back to the center line. Draw both of your legs in. Take your hands behind your thighs and start to rock the full length of your spine a few times. Eventually, we pick up momentum and roll all the way through hands and knees. Once in your tabletop, you're going to round out your back. Drop your tail, bring your chin nice and close to your chest, and pause. Pubic bone draws to the navel. Shoulders pull down from your ears. Spin your left toes off to the floor. Reach your right leg back and slowly roll up into a variation of side plank. Hips slightly pressing forward. Take the top hand behind your head, arch your back, lift up and open. Closing down, connect your hand and your knee, finding your way through tabletop and into that cat pose. Maintain your cat. Spin on your right knee. Take the toes off to the floor and the left leg reaches back. Unroll to open up. Press your hips forward. And then the top hand will connect behind the head, arch your back, opening all up through the front line. Steady, deep breaths here. Closing down. Connect the hand and the knee, come through that cat pose, round out your back. Stay rounded as long as you can. Take the left toes off to the side and reach your right leg back. Roll through side plank. Lift the arm. Keep it stacking above, and now get light through the toes and start to lift the straight leg up in the air. Lifted foot reconnects like warrior two. Feel as though someone's pulling your top hand up. You're going to rise all the way, lowering the right hand down the leg, left arm reaches up and over for gate pose. So we are going to be transitioning to face the back of the mat. Close your chest, pivoting the toes to face the ceiling and spinning the back toes around so you arrive in half split. Creating some rounding in your back. Tuck your chin. Really get as long as you can. You might even find the pads of your fingers. And then think of lifting your chin, taking your chest forward. A bit of arch to the back and then lower down. Abdomen, chest, and chin. Roll to rise. Flick the chin up at the top and ripple back down into a fold. One more time. Rounding to lift. Arch through your back. Lower. And then round to rise. Stay in that cat back. Bring the front leg back into tabletop. You'll spin on your right knee. Left leg reaches back. Let's roll open into side plank. Lifting the arm to stack. Back toes get light as you lift the leg up as high as you can, feeling that activation in the outer hip. Reconnect your lifted foot like warrior two. Top hand pulls up. We rise, moving into that gate pose. Stretching out the other side of the body. Notice if you're starting to turn down, we want to stay nice and open through the chest. And as you close down, pivoting into half splits. Round out your back, tuck your chin in, up to the pads of the fingers, and then we arch. Lift the chin, lower your abdomen, the chest, and chin. Round to rise. Extend your spine and fold down. Take two more on your own. Next time you're rounded, taking the front foot back, connect your palms, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Pedal out your legs. Eventually arriving more into a still position. We distribute the weight evenly between the hands and feet. Step your right foot forward outside the hand. Bring the left foot to join. Sink your hips, lower in, finding Malasana. Some micro movements, encouraging your body to settle. Eventually connecting the palms in front of your chest. Lengthen your tailbone down. Take your finger pads down to the mat. Begin to lift your hips. Heel toe your feet back together. Big toes touch. Fold down into your legs. Bend your knees, sink your hips real low. And use that sense of rounding again to take your chest and arms up into Utkatasana. Firm the inner thighs together. Wrap your triceps forward. Feel that work come from your shoulders. Arms are going to stay in the air. Straighten your legs to stand up. Right foot crosses in front of your left. Left hand takes right wrist. Move into the side bend. Find that sense of squeezing the thighs towards one another, drawing your bottom shoulder forward. Come out of your side bend. Keep the arms in the air. Uncross. Switch the grip above, and left foot will cross in front of the right. Come into the side bend. Think of the entire front body facing forward, limiting any rotation. Rise back up. Connect to your palms, uncross your legs, bend your knees, sink your hips down into chair pose. Tail's heavy. Let's bring our palms down to the mat, setting up for Bakasana. Knees into the back of the upper arms. Get light through your toes. And think of hugging the knees up into your armpits. It's going to create that contraction through the front line. Next breath out, step or float your feet to the back of the mat, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, we'll take downward facing dog. Left foot comes outside left hand. Right foot outside as well. Sink down into your hips. Coming in a bit quicker this time to settle. Palms firming at your chest. Tent your fingers down, lift your hips, heel toe your feet back together. Big toes touch, work into your fold. Even stretch all through the back line can be accommodated by a softening in your knees. Hips descend. Keep that squeeze of your legs together. Feel that rolling up through the spine, lifting your chest. Incorporating a twist here. Take the left hand outside your right thigh and take your right hand to your hip crease. Think of twisting from the ribs, and that right hand is there as a reminder to keep tucking that hip under so it doesn't stick out. Draw your top shoulder back and bring your bottom shoulder around. Good job. Come to the other side. Right hand outside left thigh. Left hand to the hip. Same idea. Finding the twist, really coming from the trunk of the body. Untwist to face forward. Bring your arms overhead and slowly straighten your legs, leaving the arms above. Right foot crosses in front of left. This time, coming into a fold. Perhaps the finger pads connect. You want to notice that the hips are not swinging out to the side here as well, but they're square. The thighs are squeezing. And not all of the weight is dumping into your heels. Coming to a half lift. Find the pads of the fingers if the palms were connected, and we're going to balance on the left foot. Take this right leg, backing up. Variation of standing split. I want you to think, get long, toes reaching away from the crown of your head. Soften the standing knee. Deliver the lifted toes to the back of the mat. Arms go overhead. Rise up, crescent lunge. Open up, warrior two. Back heel turns in 90. Arms lower, parallel to the floor. Tailbone lengthening down. Sides of the waist lengthening as you lift from your ribs. Cartwheel your hands down to frame your front foot, pivot the back toes to face forward, and you're going to heel toe the left foot to the side of the mat so you can bring that hand to the inside. Lizard, a strong one. Hug your feet towards one another. Buoyantly lift your hips towards the ceiling, almost as though you're ready to take off here. Step the back foot outside the hand, sinking into your hips. Malasana, palms press at the chest. Tent your finger pads down. Lift your hips. Heel toe your feet back together. Fold into your legs. Forehead drawing towards your shins. The spine is lengthening. Sink your hips low. Bring that sense of rounding through your spine as you roll up Utkatasana. Same twist, except we'll start to the left first. Right hand outside the thigh, left hand to the hip crease. Let's roll open from the trunk of the body, finding that good rotation. Twisting to the right, left hand outside, right thigh, right hand to the hip. Really think of this energy coming from your ribs. Take your chest forward, lift your arms overhead. They stay, but the legs straighten up. When fully standing, cross your left foot in front of your right. Soften your knees and let's fold down. Again, We're aware that the hips do not swing out to the side. We're scooping up through our lower abdomen, which is helping bring depth to the fold. Coming to a half lift. We'll be balancing on the right foot, taking this left leg around and back. Lengthen out. Again, notice if that right hip can draw back, really creating a nice long line. Soften your standing knee to deliver the lifted toes to the back of the mat. Arms go overhead. Take your chest up. Opening in to warrior two. Pivot the back heel in 90 degrees. Let's settle in. Hug your feet beneath you. Arms are strong. Breath is full. Cartwheel your hands down to frame your front foot. Back toes turn forward. And the right foot keeps moving off to the side so you can take the hand inside your foot. Nice strong lizard. Hips are rising. Front leg hugging onto your outer arm. We're going to step the back foot forward, outside the hand, settle the hips, take Malasana. Place the pads of the fingers down, start to lift through the hips, heel toe your feet back together. This time, sink the hips down low. Bring the rounding in through the back. This is going to be really important in a moment. Arms go overhead. Lift your chest. Utkatasana. We're going to set up for that same twist. We're going to come towards the right side. So let's take the left hand down and your right hand to the side of your waist. Now you're going to start to sink your hips a bit lower. And then you're going to place the right hand on your thigh and see if you could just kind of nuzzle your left arm outside of your leg. And then you're either going to stay here and really work your twist. You want to keep thinking that the legs are squeezing together, or we place the hands down. They'll come off of your mat. We're going to find like a side crow. So legs are squeezing. The outer leg is more towards the upper arm. And then you want to think chaturanga. Just start to lift your hips up. Bend your elbows a little bit and see if those toes can get light. Add a few more seconds to play with that. Reconnect the feet. If they lifted, let's stand up. Enjoy a fold. And setting up to try it on the other side. Bend your knees, sink your hips low. That rounding in the back, the cat posture to lift the chest. And then we set up for the twist towards the left. Start just like we have been the whole time. And then left palm to the thigh. See if you can hook that outer arm outside the leg. Then we stay here, press the palms together, or perhaps we connect the hands onto the floor. It is kind of like on a diagonal line almost. And see if those toesies can come up. You want to stay full through the back line. All that's really changing in the shape is that we're incorporating that twist. Lifting to the balls of the feet can help you take flight. And if you did find your way up, take the feet down, legs start to stretch out as you find your way back into your fold. Find a half lift. Let's step back into plank. Lower your knees down to the mat and think cat pose again. This time, keep that rounding through the back, but you're going to lower the top of your head down and place your hands onto the back of your pelvis with your fingers pointing down. Now, we strengthen up the arms by hugging the elbows to face the ceiling. Now, stay rounded as long as you can. As the head starts to lift from the mat, upper back is rounded as the front of your hips start to open. It's an uncurling. Lift from the back of the heart. Eventually take your chin up and enjoy that stretch all through the front line. The chin curls in first. Roll your shoulders forward. Round your upper back, mid back, lower back as the crown of the head seeks the mat. So we're going to do that again. If you have a camel practice where your hands can connect to your heels, you may do that or stick with what we just did. It's all the same work. So upper back stays rounded, chin is tucked. The hips start to lift and open. And we ripple through the entire spine until the chin comes up. Stay for a full round of breath. And then we curl back into ourselves. Make this transition nice and slow. Enjoy that rounding. Eventually taking the top of the head to the mat. So we're going to do that one more time so we can feel it out. Hands to the back of the pelvis or on the heels. Finding that nice ripple transition, opening up into our camel. Stay for a full breath. And then we close it down. When the top of the head has returned, connect your hands. Lift through table, rolling through to a seated position. Stretch your legs out in front. Get nice and strong. And then you're going to bend your right knee, bringing the sole of the foot inside the leg. Lengthen up your spine. Fold over, take a hold of what you can, and eventually curl in at the bottom here. In our folds, we're still focusing on bringing length into the spine. Keep that rounded back, specifically your chin tucked. Roll up. Keep the chin tucked. Place the right hand behind the hip, and the left arm's going to circle around. Take your hips up, opening into this variation of side plank / wild thing. And then curl it down. Switch your legs. Set up for your fold on the other side, lengthening your spine before you go down. Reconnecting with your breath if you've lost it. And it's a round to roll here as well. Keep that chin tucked. Left hand behind the hip, right arm circles. Take the hips up. Arch your back. Enjoy the length. Slowly roll down. Find your way onto your back, knees bent, feet connected. Arms wide. Hips to the right. Option to cross the leg or keep it stacking before they lower to the left. Coming down into a nice twist to close our practice. Out breath, encouraging your arms and legs to sink. Finish one more cycle of breath before you transition to the other side. Stay with your breath. One more round of breath. We'll unwind the body, connecting the feet, centering our hips. We'll squeeze our legs in close. Massaging out the lower back as you rock side to side. Come back to center, stretching out each limb. We'll move into rest. There's a sense of letting go. Allowing the physical body to rest. Providing our breath an opportunity to move freely. Soaking in the natural rhythm of our inhale and exhale. Flicker movement back in your fingers and toes. A shift through your shoulders and hips. Connecting your feet back into the mat. We'll roll over to one side and press up into a seated position. Palms press at the chest. We sit tall. Thank you for coming to share a piece of your practice with me. Namaste.